Hi friends, welcome to Creative Skills. Today I am going to teach you guys how to use Shape tool in Photoshop. Before starting the tutorial, if you are new to our channel then please subscribe it and don't forget to press the bell icon to get all new updates. Let's move to the Photoshop. I have already created a blank document in Photoshop and right now the tool is selected is the Move tool. I'll select the rectangle tool by tapping the U key, or I can go to the toolbar and select the rectangle tool, and if I'll right click on the rectangle tool there are some more tools appear. We'll discuss all these tools in this tutorial. Right now the rectangle tool is selected and here in the option bar the mode is shape. I can also select the path or pixel. The shape tool works both the pixel based shapes and the vector based shapes. And next is the fill option. Fill is the color which our shape is filled with. I can select any of the color, or I can also select the colors from the preset like this. Or I can also select the gradient. I can select any of the gradient or any of the gradient from this preset, or even I can also create my own gradient according to my requirements. And next is the pattern option. I can also select any of the pattern. These are some patterns. I can select any pattern, or I can also upload any pattern according to my requirements. And right now I'll select this green color and move to next. The next option is the stroke option. Stroke is the border of the shape. The options are similar to fill. We can also select any of the colors for this stroke. I can also use the gradient to fill the stroke, or I can even choose any of the pattern. Right now I'll select a solid color, black color. And next is the size of the stroke, how thick the stroke will be. I can also increase or decrease the size, or I can type any of the numbers. Right now I'll select it to 3. And next is the style option. I can select any of the style of the stroke. Right now the plain style is selected. I can also select the dash style or dotted style, or I can click on the more option and I can adjust the styles according to the requirements. I can align the bounding box, caps the corner, or style the corner, or dash or gaps. I can also adjust the dash and gaps of the style. Right now I'll click on the cancel. And next is the width and height of the shape. For example, if I'll draw any shape, I'll define the width and height, or I can also click and drag the shape. You can see here in the small box the width and height is showing me. It is the width and height of this shape. Let me release my cursor. You can see now the stroke color is black and the thickness of the stroke is 3 point and the shape is filled with green color. Let me undo this change. Now I'll again draw a shape, rectangle shape, and I am moving my cursor freely. I can also adjust the size, width, height, or any other thing, or I can also press the shift key. When I press the shift key, now the width and height is changing from the same aspect ratio. You can see in the black box the width and the height. It is changing with the same aspect ratio, and the size is moving from the top left corner. And if I'll hold down the Alt key, now the size is changing from the center, and I can easily adjust the size with the same aspect ratio from the center. And if I'll hold down the spacebar key, then I can easily reposition my shape to anywhere I want. Right now I'll release my cursor and resize the square and release my cursor. Right now the shape is drawn. You can see here the bounding box. The bounding box is right now in the middle of the stroke, and you can see the blue dot circles. I can also adjust this. If I'll click on this blue small circle and drag it to bottom, you can see now the corner of the shape is in curve position. I can also increase or decrease the curveness of the shape. Let me undo my changes, and if I'll hold down the Alt key, Alt key help me to change the curveness of one side of the, you can see the top right curveness of the square is changed. Let me undo these changes. Now I'll curve the top left corner and the bottom right corner. Now it is showing a nice shape. And when I select the move tool, you can see here the reference point in the middle of the shape. I can easily move this shape with respect of this reference point. If I'll move the reference point to the left top corner, now you can see the shape is moving with respect of this corner point, and if I'll change the position of this reference point to the bottom right corner, now the shape is rotating with respect of this reference point. Let me undo my changes. Now here is the properties, and we can also change all the options in the properties. Many options are similar to the option bars which we have already discussed. Let me select the shape tool again by pressing the U key, and now I can also change the width and height and the position of the shape from the properties and the appearance, the fill and stroke, the style of the stroke, and the corner of the shape which we have already discussed. Now I'll select another shape, the rounded rectangle tool. The rounded rectangle tool is similar to the rectangle tool. The difference is only that the corners. And next is the ellipse tool. Ellipse tool is the circle. If I'll hold down the shift key, it will draw a straight circle. And let me change the color of the circle is something like red. Okay, fine. Now the other shape is the triangle tool. All the shape tools work similar, and there is only a one blue point which help us to adjust the curveness of the triangle. Let me undo my changes. And next is the polygonal tool. Polygonal tool is very useful tool. If I'll simply click and drag my cursor by holding down the shift key, it will draw a polygonal, and it has 6 corners. I can also change the corners in the properties panel, and right now the corners are 6. I can also adjust it typing the 10. Now the corners are 10, and now I can also change it into the star shape. If I'll change it to something like 50%, now you can see the shape is changed into star form. Or I can also change many other shapes, and let me change the color of the star to something like yellow. This time I'll draw a polygonal shape by holding down the shift key and change the corners to something like 16, and change the position to something like 50. Now you can see the star and the corners. We can also change the curveness of these star. If I'll change it to 10 pixels, now I'll select the move tool and move it a little bit and resize it by holding down the shift key. You can see now the corners are little bit curved. I'll set it here. Now next option is the line tool. Line tool is also very useful tool, and we can simply use it to draw a line. If I'll hold down the shift key and draw a line, then the straight line will draw, and we will change the appearance of the line from this option. We can change the color to something like red, or we can increase or decrease the thickness to something like 2 pixels, or I'll check the ending arrow, and all the settings are okay, and I'll press enter. Now the line is drawn, and if I'll increase the thickness of the stroke, you can see all the changes are made. And next is the custom shapes. Custom shape is very useful tool. We can use different shapes. We have some of the presets which the Photoshop have already. We'll select any of the preset. For example, wild animal. If I'll select any of the animal, I can easily draw a animal by holding down the shift key, and you can see. Let me decrease the thickness of the stroke to something like 3 and press enter. Now you can see the shape. If I'll select the move tool, now it is a nicely drawn shape. I can select many of these shapes. I'll again select the shape tool and select any of the shape. I'll select some flowers. I'll select this rose flower and draw it by holding down the shift key. And now I'll select the move tool, and you can see here the shape tool, how nice it is, and it is very easy to draw a shape. Let me decrease the stroke value to something like 1. I can also set, and in the legacy shape and more, you can select any of the shapes. There are or many different shapes. You can select any of the shapes, for example arrows and many other shapes. I can easily draw this arrow shape and increase the stroke value to something like 3 points and press enter. Now I have created a arrow, or we can create many of the shapes. One thing I'll explain you. We have drawn different shapes, and these shapes are drawn on separate layers. You can see here in the layers, all the shapes are drawn on a single layer. If I'll turn on in this layer, you can see all the shapes are drawn in single layer. Let me turn off all these layers, and again I'll draw a shape. Right now I'll select the rectangle tool and draw a shape by holding down the shift key. As I have drawn a shape, you can see here in the layers, new rectangle is drawn. And now I want to draw a one more shape on the same layer. Then I'll select this option and click on the combine shapes. And when I'll click on the combine shapes and draw one more shape by holding down the shift key, you can see now both the squares are on one layer. And if you want to move the position of the sphere, you can simply select the path selection tool, and you can select any of the square and move it according to your wish. And if you want to change the shape, you can simply select the direct selection tool and select this tool and change these points to something. Now the Photoshop is asking this operation will turn a live shape into a regular path. Now my shape is changing into the path. Yes, I want to change. Simply I have changed my path. You can experiment it more and learn more about this tool. It is very useful tool. And again I'll go to the shape, and now I'll turn on this layer, and now I want to subtract front shape. Now I'll again draw a shape, and now I want to subtract this area from this. I'll simply click and drag. Now the both shape are drawn, but this arrow head is now hidden. I'll select the move tool and select. You can see here now the rectangle is made. Or I can again select the shape tool, or I can also intersect shape area. If I'll select the again I'll select any of the shape. For example, I'll select this flower shape, and by selecting the move tool I'll reposition it, and again select the shape tool. And now I want to intersect. I'll simply select it and select this area. Now you can see this area is intersecting, the both shapes are intersecting, so this area is visible only for me. Let me undo these changes, and again I'll go to the exclude overlapping. If the shapes are overlapping, for example, I'll overlap that area and that area. You can see the overlap area is excluded. Let me select the move tool and click. You can see overlap area is excluded from the shape. And now this is one shape and this is the other shape. Now I want to merge these both shapes. I have selected these two layers and I'll right click on this and click on the merge shape. These both shapes are now merged together. There are some more options. We can also align these shapes to the right, left, or centralize, or we can also arrange our shape to backward, forward, or back, or front. I hope you have learned something from this tutorial, and if you want to ask anything regarding this tutorial, then please leave a comment. We'll reply you as soon as possible, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Stay connected with us. See you in the next tutorial. Thanks for watching.